Welcome to the Business of Defense. I'm Rich Brady, your host and CEO at the American Society of Military Comptrollers. ASMC proudly sponsors this podcast on Federal News Network. ASMC is the premier association of finance and accounting professionals who work in government and business in the defense sector. Our goal is to bridge the gap between the boardroom and the battlefield, to drive financial transformation, to improve the field of defense financial management, and advance the mission of national security. My guest today is Haley Lay, founder and CEO of Redwood Strategy Group. Redwood Strategy Group focus is on developing and implementing strategies to optimize operations for military departments and agencies across the federal government through innovative transformation. Redwood Strategy is an economically disadvantaged, women-owned small business, and Haley, as its founder, was raised as a hardworking first-generation Vietnamese American. Inspired by nature, and namely the Muir Woods in Mill Valley, the organization set its guiding principles on the lessons Haley took from the Redwoods. I'm excited to have Haley here to join me today and to learn more about her startup journey at Redwood Strategy and the opportunities and risks she sees in the federal sector. Haley, welcome to the show.
Rich, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
Great, thank you. So as we tape today, we're just a few weeks out from the announcement of the Marine Corps' clean audit opinion, an unmodified audit opinion on their financial statements. As I understand, Redwood was a part of that. Can you talk a little bit about that and the importance of that?
Absolutely, and your background also as a Marine, I'm sure this is a really big deal.
It's an incredibly proud moment for us, yes.
Absolutely, and also equally proud. I think when I read the news, kind of shed a few tears, but truly our involvement with the Marine Corps' audit, a very small piece of it, lots and lots of effort from people from decades, I think, leading up to this audit. Our involvement specifically was around financial systems modernization. So we were in there helping them to re-engineer their processes, help them get trained up on how to use the new financial system. And I think one of the critical success points with the Marine Corps is making sure that we are implementing sound solutions, making sure that we're simplifying processes, making sure we're sticking to the core values of an ERP implementation, which is to not customize as much and use the COTS product as it's intended to.
Now, when you started Redwood, did you think that you would have a hand in the Marine Corps' clean audit opinion?
No. I think, being involved in a lot of, comptrollers, CFO space, I think we always knew that we were part of the financial modernization story. But the opportunity to serve with the Marine Corps in this capacity was definitely something that we weren't expecting, but, definitely as we got into it, wholeheartedly embracing that journey with the Marine Corps. So
now let's go back to the beginning. Can you talk about what led you to start Redwood Strategy Group?
I think fundamentally being able to solve problems for our customers is really kind of what drove us to creating Redwood. Being strategic partners with our customers. What's your challenge? How can we get you there? How can we build a framework and a methodology that will allow you to step by step, slowly, steadily get to achieving your goals? And I think that kind of goes along with the Marine Corps audit story. It goes along with some of the work that we're doing with our Homeland Security partners, just trying to create change and trying to sustain that change and helping to optimize businesses, as you said earlier.
And you had started, or you had worked in the government contracting space before you started Redwood Strategy Group about 7 or 8 years ago. What did you see in the market at the time? Was it a gap in the market that you felt that Redwood could fill? Was it more of a personal ambition? What was it?
I think it was a personal ambition, but also a little bit of a gap in the market. The personal ambition side would be just I think there's a lot of innovation that comes out of small businesses and being able to walk alongside our customers and really try to help them solve their critical challenges in a resource constraint environment, I think was sort of the gap that we wanted to fill. The personal journey also is just, I've been doing transformation for a long time. I worked on the BRAC Commission in 2005. I was part of the Defense Agency's initiative since the day one. So I think, just being able to bring that expertise to help with the customers who are ready for the change, and maybe they don't know quite how to start it, being able to bring that expertise to them, but also walk alongside them, because we're a small business and we want to see the results and we want to help our customers.
Can you talk a little bit about how Redwood has grown over the last 7 or 8 years? And in what areas? Did you start out financial systems, enterprise systems, or did you grow into that?
Yeah, so our bread and butter was always financial systems, implementing, sustaining, providing application support, help desk. We've radiated a little bit further along, and all of our customers are at different phases in their transformation journey. So for the agencies, the defense agencies who's been in ERP for a long time, we've pivoted a lot into data, making sure that we can get insights and glean from the incredible amount of data that we're getting out of the financial systems, and pairing that up with operational data so we can provide a story around data. How can we use that to further implement change or see cost efficiencies, things like that.
Now, so when you go in to talk to a government customer or federal customer, what's your 30-second pitch? How do you describe what Redwood Strategy Group does?
So my 30-second pitch would be, we know how to do things the right way, and if you're looking for a partner whose mission is always on doing things the right way, I think that's how we would be successful. I think it's important that there's a lot of ways to do things, but doing the right way sometimes is not always the easy way, but it's also the most rewarding and fulfilling way. And so being able to share with them that there are going to be peaks where it might be very challenging, but we know how to ride through it. And then always kind of put the human focus on it, understanding the people that are being impacted by it, and how can we work through that, get the buy-in from all levels of support to be able to successfully implement change.
Now, as you've described it, you have followed a fairly deliberative growth strategy, a conservative growth strategy, not going after everything out there, but really trying to build on sustainable growth. Can you talk about the importance of that, and also tie it to, you're an economically disadvantaged women-owned small business and an 8A, but I don't think you started out that way.
Yeah.
So could you talk about that decision and how that ties into your growth strategy?
Yeah, so thank you for that question. I think that it's really important to focus on what you do really well. As a small business, you can't get too your hands in too many pots, because I think that what happens is you kind of dilute yourself, right? So we really focused on our core portfolio of business, and we've done a great job through steady growth to radiate into other areas that are sort of around our core competency, which is financial modernization and transformation. So yeah, you're right. We started the business out. Obviously we could have gone the immediate 8A route. We chose not to. We wanted to really build a credible foundation for us. And we entered the program immediately. I think we won a few contracts right after we got our 8A. But we're really not sort of tying our growth strategy on being a disadvantaged company. We're using that more to be able to radiate into other spaces that we're not in. But like I said, the success story that we have with what we're already doing has really been an incredible selling point for our company.
What opportunities do you see in the federal space today? I mean, what are the growth areas that you see over the next few years?
So first and foremost, continuing that financial modernization. There's still a lot of business feeder systems that I think, we could definitely look really hard at. The more reduction of systems, getting access to more data is also very important, and clean data, right? So I think that continuing that thread, continuing on the great success we have with audits, making sure that we're building the controls around that so that we're maintaining and sustaining that. And I think, from like a comptroller, CFO space, I think budget transformation, and I know we've been seeing a lot on the PPBE Commission, I think transforming our budget processes it naturally makes sense, as well as procurement, transforming the way we do procurement. Because as you get into this more integrated workspace, all of these things kind of work together. So I think it makes sense for us to be seeing more budget transformation and more procurement transformation.
So it sounds like there's a lot of opportunities out there, and I don't want to lead people down the false sense that it's all about opportunity. There's probably some risks as well, particularly risks for small businesses. Can you talk about some of those and how you mitigate those risks?
I think risks that we have are shared across the community, not necessarily for a small business, but I think when we're working with administrative and financial functions, I think the biggest risk is resources. Everybody wears multiple hats. You've got, a budget analyst that's working hard to create their budgets and submitting their POMs and their BESs, but you're also asking them to lead, efforts to transforming budget systems, budget processes. I think that's a constraint with change management across the board, and that's always been the case. So I think that's a risk for everybody. I think the workforce is also changing, so I feel like that's also a risk for any business, is to attract and retain, talent pool that is, how should I say, just to be able to attract the right people who really are passionate about the mission and the goals of transformation. So I think those are the two biggest risks. But they're also two of the most incredible opportunities, right? Because we can definitely leverage technology to create efficiencies, in the administrative and financial space. And then also, I think being able to look at talent reformation in a different light. How do we blend the skill sets of the new generation with what we're trying to do to achieve the goal?
It's great that you can see those the opportunities and those risks. No doubt that being an entrepreneur, it takes that type of an attitude to be successful. And I look forward to getting into some of the resourcing discussion and the talent management in the next segment. You are listening to The Business of Defense with my guest, Haley Lay, founder and CEO of Redwood Strategy Group. We'll be right back. Welcome back to The Business of Defense, sponsored by ASMC on Federal News Network. I'm talking with Haley Lay, founder and CEO of Redwood Strategy Group. Having spent nearly 20 years in the defense financial management field, Haley has developed a top-notch team. Of course, that comes with lessons in leadership over time as she's developed Redwood's internal culture and made sure to stay true to their guiding principles. Haley, can you talk a little bit about your backstory? We were talking, you're the daughter of Vietnamese immigrants, and how that shapes, your view on public service, working in the GovCon space, and the culture you're trying to develop at Redwood Strategy Group.
Thank you for that question. My father and mother are boat people, Vietnamese boat people, so I was fortunately born in the United States, and I think with my dad and his history being part of the Southern Vietnamese Navy and training in Guam, and then being able to have this incredible opportunity to immigrate to the United States, I think for me, he instilled in me early on patriotism and being able to give back to the communities that we, have benefited from. With my mom, she's always been an entrepreneur. Since forever, she was, selling homemade foods and working through that, and ran a few local businesses. So I think just kind of it was a perfect storm for me. I will tell you though, when I first started, I thought I'd be a teacher because I really enjoyed the element of learning and teaching and helping others grow. And so I think between those three things, leading up to where I am today and what I've been doing has kind of built that foundation in me. And I still kind of carry all of that element with me today as well. Got my first opportunity in consulting, GovCon consulting, worked in big companies, small companies, and I really enjoyed sort of the amount of growth that you could actually see and feel within a small company, and so I've enjoyed that, and that's led me to where I am today.
So in some respects, though, you are still, as the CEO, a teacher, a mentor, a coach. I mean, how do you embrace that role today in your CEO position?
Thank you. I love that aspect about my job the most, I would say. I would describe, my style as a compassionate servant leader. I'm really there to help, allow my team members to grow and to empower them to come up with great solutions and innovation for our customers. So it's really I always say I'm like their biggest cheerleader, and I think I want to be able to create an environment that's enriching for them, for their growth. I'm there for them, even if it's on a personal matter, calling each other, texting each other, and just uplifting each other, I think, whenever we need it, whether it's personal or professional.
And you become somewhat of a role model for minority women out there. You may not feel that way, but you have. But what do you feel is your responsibility in that area?
I feel like there's a tremendous responsibility in the role that I am, being blessed to be in the role that I am. And like you said, sometimes you don't really see it because you're just doing your job. But I've had people come up to me and said, wow, you took that risk, and I see your company growing and things are going so well. And so now it's become a passion of mine to really be able to give back, to be able to help other small businesses, other women small businesses and minority businesses.
So if we could talk a little bit about the name Redwood Strategy Group. I looked at your CEO message, and I really liked the story behind the term that you chose, Redwood, and what you say about standing tall, stand proud, go out on a limb, enjoy the view, and remember your roots. How does that define not only who you are, but the company that you're trying to establish and the culture at Redwood Strategy Group?
Yeah, so we always talk about our roots, especially at our all hands. We came up with this internal award called the Hyperion Award, which, by the way, is the tallest redwood tree out there. And I think it's really about always trying to excel in what you do, always bringing your best out, but always remembering that how you got there was because of the people around you, the sacrifices that our military has made for us, the sacrifices that our parents and our family members have made for us. So I think it's really resonated with our culture.
And the team that you're building at Redwood, how large of a team is that now, and how has that grown over time?
So we are, we're hitting the 50 mark, so that's a pivotal moment in a small business. We had some steady growth kind of in the first few years, and then just continuous double growth every year. We're hoping to double our growth this year again. And so I think because we took the time to really, build that foundation and kind of create this culture, I think it's made growing scalable. And I hope to continue to operate the way that we do, no matter how big we get.
You talked a little bit about some of the challenges with talent management earlier. Can you talk about that and some of the challenges you're seeing with getting the best talent on your team, everything from the hiring to the recruiting to the training to the retaining talent? How difficult is it right now in the GovCon space?
It's pretty difficult. I mean, I think everybody wants the best talent. There is a lot of talent there. Sometimes the talent doesn't always fit your culture too, so that's a really important aspect. So from a hiring and recruiting perspective, we really focus on the people aspect of it. Obviously we're looking at certain things from a skill set, but does this person fit our culture? Is this person going to be able to grow with us? And so that's really important aspect for us. I think the other thing about talent and I think it's the development piece, because some people may not always have the skills you need, but they definitely embody the spirit and the passion that we're looking for when it comes to innovation and creativity. And so we're very focused on continuous training and making sure people have opportunities to continue to learn, continue to grow, and pivot outside of their original expertise.
One of the other challenges that you mentioned was resourcing, and right now we're in this period where We don't have an FY24 budget yet for government, for the Department of Defense. The FY25 budget was just submitted, so we get a sense of what next year might look like. But for small business, does that create challenges? Some of the uncertainty in the defense budget, whether it's contract awards or payment?
I would say that, I've been very blessed that we've been coming from the comptroller space. We understand all of the processes in place, passing the budget. And so I think we've been we've framed the way we were growing based around the understanding of those types of challenges. So I think I've been very lucky that we haven't had to experience that. I think that's also an opportunity because small businesses are more nimble and we're able to, let's just say we can work with more for less people or things like that. And so creating those efficiencies with technology, creating these templates of business processes that have worked continuously, all of these are effective tools to kind of help with that. And so I think it's really an opportunity for small businesses because we can do more with less.
Right. Does it tie into your growth strategy as well, which again is more conservative, more focused on sustainable growth as opposed to just going after every, because there are companies out there that will go after every contract that's available to them. So does it tie into that as well, that to create that sustainable growth, you really need to be cautious about what contracts you go after and what opportunities are out there? Absolutely.
One of the first things I learned about women-owned small businesses is that, there's industries where women-owned small businesses are not, there's not a big presence, like energy and textile and administrative. And surely we could go after these contracts, but that's not really our competency. And we really like to perfect what we're doing well. And we'd like to radiate from within where we are currently, which is the financial space. And I think that's been very effective for us. We don't have, a large business development staff. We don't have a large recruiting staff. Our back office is pretty slim. So I think for us, it's really targeting what we do well and focusing on that. And however long it takes us to grow, it's perfectly fine. But I think it's important for us, if we were in it for the long run, to be sustainable and scalable.
So you become a mentor for other small businesses, some minority women-owned businesses. Who were your mentors? Who helped you along the way?
Oh gosh, I would say from a personal perspective, obviously my family has been, a tremendous value for me, my friends as well. I've had really great bosses and really great government customers. And I think when I look back, I've been so fortunate to be able to have them kind of tell me what worked for them, what didn't work for them. I think it also takes a little bit of listening and also kind of absorbing, right? So I love learning. I go out to conferences to meet people because I'm trying to absorb all of their skills. Because, the thing about being a business owner is you don't know until you face that challenge or you come across this particular situation. And so I've been very blessed to have mentors who I can call and say, hey, have you encountered this? And I've had great bosses, great customers along the way that would tell me, you have a really great knack for this. Maybe this is something you want to pursue. So I think they've always seen things in me before I've even seen it in myself. And so I'm very blessed.
Yeah, that humility, it sounds like, runs pretty deep. And it probably is important as well as an entrepreneur to again, stay grounded, remember your roots, as you say.
Yes, absolutely.
Great. I'd like to thank today's guest, Haley Lay, founder and CEO of Redwood Strategy Group, for insights into her unique story that led to the founding of Redwood Strategy Group, as well as insights on the competitive landscape, company culture, and leadership. Watch The Business of Defense next month, where we bring you inside the companies working to drive change in the defense sector, to hear directly from their business leaders and to understand how they create value for their companies and their customers. And check out ASMC's website at asmconline.org to learn more and register for upcoming education and professional development opportunities, including the Professional Development Institute, the premier event in defense financial management in Phoenix, Arizona in May. I am Rich Brady, CEO of the American Society of Military Comptrollers. You are listening to the Federal News Network. For more on this discussion, visit federalnewsnetwork.com and search ASMC. Thank you.